Hey people, and today we'll be looking at another superhero films that's based on DC Comics, which is the one that's directed by Tim Burton, music by Danny Elfman, and starring Michael Keaton, released in 1989, and that is Batman. A story that tells Bruce Wayne, who lost his parents. To avenge them, he puts on his armored batsuit to fight crime known as Batman. He fights a laughing villain who loves jokes and puns, the Joker. So the popularity of Batman have become less popular in the late 1970s. CBS was interested in producing a movie, Batman in Outer Space. So on 3rd of October 1979, Benjamin Melnicker and Michael E. Uslan, the producers, bought the rights from DC Comics. It was Uslan's wish to make the definitive dark, serious version of Batman, the way Bob Kane and Bill Finger had imagined the character in 1939. A creature of the night stalking criminals in the shadows, Richard Maybaum was asked to write the scripts with Guy Hamilton to direct as they worked together on James Bond, but they both turned it down. Michael E. Uslan was unsuccessful with putting Batman to many film studios because they wanted the film to be similar to 1960s Adam West TV show made by 20th Century Fox. With a campy tone, Columbia Pictures and United Artists also turned down the film. Michael E. Uslan was disappointed and then wrote a script called Return of the Batman to give the film industry a better idea of his vision for the movie, so he later compared its dark tone to four-part comic book The Dark Knight Returns, which is his script predated by 6 years. In November 1979, John Peters and Peter Gubba, the producers, joined the work. Melnicker and Uslan became executive producers, and they thought it was better to rework on the movie, taking the influence from Christopher Reeve's first Superman movie. So Batman was going to be Universal Pictures, but the company turned it down. There was no studios involved yet. The movie was announced with a budget of $50 million in July 1980 at the Comic Art Convention in New York. So eventually, Warner Brothers got the rights. In June 1983, Tom Mankiewicz finished the script called The Batman, which centered around Batman and Dick Grayson's Robin origin story, with the Joker and Rupert Thorne as the villains, and Silver St. Cloud as the love interest. Tom Mankiewicz took the inspiration from Batman's Strange Apparitions limited series, written by Steve Englehart and illustrated by Marshall Rogers, who was hired for concept art. In late 1983, The Batman was announced for a mid-1985 release date on a budget of $20 million. Tom Mankiewicz originally wanted not a known actor for the part as Batman, with William Holden as Commissioner Jim Gordon, David Niven as Alfred Pennyworth, and Peter O'Toole as the Penguin, who Mankiewicz wanted to play a mobster with a low body temperature. But it ended up not happening because William Holden passed away in 1981, and David Niven passed away in 1983. A number of filmmakers were attached to Mankiewicz's script, including Ghostbusters director Ivan Reitman and Gremlins director John Dante. In terms of casting Batman, Ivan wanted to cast Bill Murray as the character, with Eddie Murphy as Robin. There were 9 by 9 separate writers, most of them were based on Strange Apparitions, although it was Tom Mankiewicz's script that was still being used to guide the project. Wes Craven was considered to direct the movie as he previously worked with Melnicker and Uslan on the 1982 Swamp Thing movie. Due to success of Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Beetlejuice, Tim Burton was hired by Warner Brothers to direct. Julie Hickson, who dated Tim back then, wrote a 30-page film treatment as she felt Mankiewicz's version was campy. The success of The Dark Knight Returns and Batman the Killing Joke graphic novel relighted Warner Brothers' interest in a movie adaptation. Apparently Tim Burton wasn't a fan of comic books, but he was impressed by the dark and serious tone found in both The Dark Knight Returns and The Killing Joke. In March 1986, Steve Englehart was hired to write a new treatment similar to Mankiewicz's script. It was based on his own Strange Apparitions and included Silver St. Cloud, Dick Grayson, the Joker, and Rupert Thorne, with Penguin's cameo appearance. Warner Brothers was impressed. However, Englehart felt there were too many characters, so the Penguin was removed and saved for the second movie, and Dick Grayson in his second treatment, which finished in May 1986. Tim Burton hired a comic book fan, Sam Hamm, to write the movie, so Sam Hamm decided not to add origin story instead use a flashback as he felt it would be more suitable and that unlocking the mystery would become part of the storyline, and also said it would destroy the credibility if the literal process by which Bruce Wayne becomes Batman was shown. So Silver St. Cloud was replaced by Vicky Vale, and Rupert Thorne was replaced by Carl Grissom, which is created in the movie, not in the comics. So he finished the script in 1986 with Dick Grayson to do a cameo. There was one scene where Ham's script had a young James Gordon on duty the night of the murder of Thomas and Martha Wayne. When the script was rewritten, that scene was removed as well as Dick Grayson's cameo. It was reduced into a photo in the Gotham Globe newspaper seen in the movie. Warner Brothers reluctantly moved further on the development, even they're enthusiastic on Sam Hamm's script, but Bob Kane gave a positive feedback and he worked as a consultant of the movie, and Bill Finger was uncredited in the movie and in any other Batman media until 2016. Michael Keaton plays Bruce Wayne, aka Batman, who's a crime-fighting vigilante and trying to make Gotham City a better place, battling criminals and villains. Keaton is absolutely brilliant, absolute favourite of mine. Before he was casted, there was many of Hollywood A-listers were considered for the part. Mel Gibson, Kevin Costner, Charlie Sheen, Tom Selleck, Bill Murray, Harrison Ford and Dennis Quaid were considered for the role. Warner Brothers pressured Tim Burton to cast an obvious action movie star, so he thought of Pierce Brosnan, but he wasn't interested in playing a comic book character. Tim wanted to cast not a well-known actor. Originally, Willem Dafoe was considered for the role, so John Peters, the producer, suggested Michael Keaton, arguing he had the right edgy, tormented quality after watching his dramatic performance in Clean and Sober.
You want me out of here? I'm out of here! I'm gone!
And also worked with Tim Burton in Beetlejuice.
I see it! Not to mention the fact that you're talking to a dead guy! Now what do you think? You think I'm qualified?
So Tim agreed, but when it was announced, comic book fans were furious with the idea. There's 50,000 protest letters sent to Warner Brothers. Bob Kane, Sam Hamm and Michael E. Uslan questioned about the casting. There was controversy. It was the thought that people will think the movie will be the 1960s TV show with a campy tone. They thought of Tim Burton's direction of Pee-wee's Big Adventure and Michael Keaton in comedy films like Mr. Mom and Night Shift, and they tried convincing people what was going on, but they disbelieving them. And look how this movie turned out! Michael Keaton studied The Dark Knight Returns for inspiration. The costume designer Bob Ringwood turned down working on License to Kill to design the suit for Keaton, and said designing the Batsuit was difficult as the image of Batman in the comics is this huge, big 6'4" hunk with a dimpled chin, with Keaton is a guy with average build. The issue was to make somebody who was average size and ordinary looking into this bigger than life creature, was to make somebody who was average size and ordinary looking into his bigger than life creature with a Nike product placement. But Tim Burton and Bob Ringwood weren't keen on the idea as it wasn't intimidating. So 28 latex of the suit was made, as well as 25 different capes and 6 different heads. The character was given an armour instead of spandex. Keaton's performance has inspired a lot.
What are you? I'm Batman.
Especially Kevin Conroy when he voices the character in the animated series, also carrying a grapple device with a motorized reel, as well as cape that can harden, transform into a hang glider.
I am vengeance. I am the Knight. I am Batman.
These concepts would become highly influential for most contemporary appearances of the character, and also the voice changing inside the costume, which also inspired Ben Affleck and Christian Bale.
I'm real when it's useful. I'm Batman.
Jack Nicholson plays Jack Napier, aka Joker, who is a mobster, the leader of his gang, after he fell into the chemicals. Resulted disfigurement where his skin turns white, his hair turns green, and red lips with a permanent rictus grin at the plastic surgery which turned him insane, become a villain after looking at himself in the mirror. He really had practices of his laugh from The Shining. I really love Jack Nicholson as the Joker. I think he's brilliant and my favourite Joker. He's so terrifying. Tim Curry, David Bowie and Brad Dourif, Ray Liotta and James Woods were considered for the role as the Joker. John Lithgow was also considered, but he talked to Tim out of casting him, which he later regretted when he realised that it was such a big deal. Tim wanted to cast John Glover, but the studio insisted on using a movie star, Robin Williams. Fought so hard to get the part. Jack Nicholson had been studio's top choice since 1980, so he was approached by John Peters during the filming of The Witches of Eastwick. So Peter Grubber took Burton and Nicholson on a horseback riding excursion in Aspen to get the pair acquainted and convince him to take the part. Jack Nicholson's contract featured an off-the-clock agreement specifying the number of hours he could have, and allowed him to take time off to attend Los Angeles Lakers home games. This version of the Joker was the first to have a real name, Jack Napier, which would sometimes get used in other forms of media as well as the origin story. The idea was from Batman the Killing Joke. Certain elements of the character's origin would change, including making him being a gangster rather than a failed stand-up comedian, and cutting the Red Hood persona from the character, and he kills Bruce Wayne's parents instead of Joe Chill, who ended up being his accomplice.
You ever dance with the devil by the pale moonlight?
Nicholson was allowed to have approval over the makeup designer to create the look of the character, so he chose Nick Dudman as his makeup designer. Arsenic-based makeup for the bleached white face was used. In terms of creating a smile, Dudman did a regular face cast of Nicholson with a relaxed face, then asked him to do another one while pulling the largest grin he could muster. He attempted to sculpt a smile that was always there, but would take full effect when Nicholson smiled in the makeup. He also worked to ensure that the prosthetics wouldn't dilute Nicholson's face. Apparently the scene where Joker's face was splashed with water by Vicky Vale in the art gallery was very difficult to do. I love his lines like, "Have you ever danced with the devil in a pale of moonlight?" was so iconic.
You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight?
It was nominated for the American Film Institute's 100 movie quoted list, but did not make the list, however. The list was used as a title track written by Prince for his soundtrack for the film, a song that wasn't released. Prince cut the Dance with the Devil track because the darker tone of the song not fitting in with the rest of the upbeat songs on the soundtrack. It was replaced at the last second with Bat Dance. Throughout the music videos for single release from the album, Prince was dressed as an amalgam of Nicholson's Joker and Keaton's Batman in persona that he called Gemini. Nicholson's Joker can be heard in sound bites during songs like Bat Dance and Party Man. He has influenced his successors. He inspired Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight and thought it was too good to turn down, and also said it would be a crime to follow Jack's footpath. Mark Hamill, who voiced the Joker in the Batman animated series and the games, also took an inspiration, but was told by show producers to avoid using Nicholson's Joker as a direct source of inspiration. Kim Basinger plays Vicky Vale, the love interest who's a photojournalist at Gotham Globe. She investigates the sightings of Batman. She's fantastic. Originally, Vale was to be played by Sean Young, but she had to be dropped out due to an injury from a horse riding, so John Peters suggested Kim Basinger for the part. Michael Gough plays Alfred Pennyworth, Bruce Wayne's butler. He absolutely nailed it. Tim Burton was a fan of Michael Gough's work in Hammer Films productions. Robert Wuhl plays Alexander Knox, the Gotham Globe reporter. He gives off great performance. The character was created in a movie, however he was based on Scoop Scanlon from The Secret of Bruce Wayne in World's Finest Six. Wuhl ad-libbed the "he must be the king of the Wicker People" line.
Check this out. He must have been king of the Wicker People. Oh.
And hello legs. It was amusing.
Hello, legs.
Originally he was supposed to be killed off during the Joker's gas attack at Gotham City, but John Peters liked him so much so he wasn't killed off. Plus, Will reprised the role in Supergirl The Crisis on Infinite Earth Story.
I hope you're watching, big guy.
Pat Hingle plays Jim Gordon, the Commissioner of GCPD, Gotham City Police Department, who works close to Batman and stop the crime. He's absolutely fantastic. Billy D. Williams plays Harvey Dent, who was District Attorney of Gotham City. He worked with Mayor Borg and Commissioner Gordon to clear up the crime to make the city safe. But of course the character in the comics is known to become a villain called Two-Face, which he does in Batman Forever, but he gets replaced by Tommy Lee Jones. I thought Billy is brilliant as Harvey Dent. It is a shame we don't get to see him as Two-Face in live action, but he reprised the role in the Lego film.
There are other fish in the sea. What about Green Lantern?
There's a design of him in the comics which looked so cool. Jack Palance plays Carl Grissom, the crime lord who's very powerful. He's so good too. As I've already mentioned, he's based on Rupert Thorne. Also creating Carmine Falcone may took some inspiration in the comics. Jerry Hall plays Alicia Hunt, Grissom's mistress and Jack Napier's love interest. She gives off great performance. I would love to believe that's Harley Quinn. It's possible that she loosely influenced from the character in the Batman animated series.
Batman sprung me so's I could find you. Had me all locked up in his bad old car, too.
However, she's based on Cersei original, Black Mask's ex-girlfriend, and henchwoman especially being disfigured by the chemicals. After when Cersei was disfigured, she reunites with Black Mask, but then she killed herself, which led Black Mask to replace her with a mannequin that he talked to as if it were a real person. Back to Alicia. Patsy Kensit was considered for the role, but it was thought that the age difference between her and Jack Nicholson was too great. So instead she was casted in Lethal Weapon 2 by Warner Brothers. So Batman crew member at Pinewood Studios spotted Jerry Hall during one of her breaks from filming a chocolate commercial.
Hair. You've got hair fever. You need Flex Conditioner.
Tracy Walter plays Bob the Goon, Joker's best friend. He works so well with Jack Nicholson. Apparently Jack suggested Tracy to play the role as Bob, as they were close friends in real life. Lee Wallace plays Borg, the mayor of Gotham. He's good too. William Hootkins plays Max Eckhart, the GCPD lieutenant. He's so good as well. The character is a possible inspiration from Detective Harvey Bullock and Detective Arnold Flass. David Baxter and Sharon Holm plays Thomas and Martha Wayne, the parents of Bruce Wayne. They're great too. You also got the Tourist family played by Garrick Hagen, Liza Ross and Adrian Myers. They're good too. There's amazing casting. There's some great effects for its time. I love the graphics and style. Tim Burton's direction is phenomenal. One of my favourite film directors. And I think it suited Batman. And how can I talk about this movie without Danny Elfman's music score? It's so iconic, nostalgic, and it fits in well. When I hear the music, it makes me think of Lego Batman game. Danny's music really goes perfectly well with Tim Burton's work. Wayne Manor was shot in Knebworth House. I love Batman's first scene. It is one of the best Batman scenes in cinema history. The gunfight is superb and loving the atmosphere.
Let him go, or I'll do Gordon.
Also the guns you fire with style.
And as you can see, I'm a lot happier. Wait till they get a load of me.
It was pretty effective and grim, the handshake scene.
Oh, I got a live one here.
And gotta love Jack's laugh.
Haven't you ever heard of the healing power of laughter? I'm glad you did.
And also his smiley grin is really scary.
Chances are you bought him already.
Love that Joker.
I absolutely love the Joker's dance scene in the art gallery.
Gentlemen, let's broaden our minds.
Lawrence!
You can tell Jack and the others are having a blast filming that. So they vandalise the gallery with splotch of paint, leaving his calling card. But Joker kept Francis Bacon spared.
I kinda like this for Bob. Leave it.
Apparently John Peters and Peter Gubber wanted Prince to write music for the Joker and Michael Jackson to do the romance songs. Danny Elfman combined the style of Prince and Jackson's songs together for the entire movie score, and it gives us Prince Party Man's music video. The Batmobile looks so cool. It's a really nice look for Batcave.
Be careful.
Every line Jack Nicholson's Joker delivers, they're so classic.
As my plastic surgeon always said, if you gotta go, go with a smile.
It was so cleverly done the way Batwing fly in front of the moon. That's pretty much breaking the fourth wall. It was so funny that the Joker pulls out his long gun from his pocket.
Santa Claus is definitely giving me that gun I wanted for Christmas, because when I sat on his lap, I could feel it in his pocket.
The soundtrack in the cathedral is a masterpiece. You can't get enough of it. There's some great dancing with Joker and Vicky Vale. The battle is damn brutal. Joker's laugh from the other side is creepy. But as Joker falls, he died of laughter. The ending scene with the bat signal is nicely done. So, that's 1980. So, that's 1989 Batman film, and I'd say... Shut up! Oh, great.
New and improved Joker product!
Smiley. Uh-oh. You don't look happy. He's been using Brand X. But with new and improved Joker brand.
New items. Well, that's the gang. Chances are, you bought them already.
Love that Joker.
Sorry about that. I'd say this is the best Batman film. It does have comic book and animated series vibe to it. Also reminds me of Lego games in terms of the music. I really love everything about this movie. The performances, effects, style, music score, and everything. It does inspire a lot. There's a lot of things that this movie gave us, like the sequels, Batman Returns, as well as Joel Schumacher films. It also gave us the video game based on the film.
The pen is truly mightier than the sword.
Like I said, the Lego Batman video game series, which I really enjoyed playing. The Batman animated series set in the DC animated universe. There's a contribution in Batman 89 comic book written by Sam Hamm and drawn by Joe Quinones, with the return of Catwoman, the introduction of Robin, and also the likeness of Billy D. Williams' version of Two-Face. That's it for this movie, people. Thanks for watching, And let's continue on with Batman Returns.